Something is brewing in Seattle and the 12s can feel it right now. We've been waiting for that one move to solidify this defense under the new vision. There is a specific kind of tension when a star walks out the door, leaving a massive void in the trenches. But today, the silence has finally broken. This isn't just another depth signing. It feels like a calculated strike to reclaim our identity. If you're a real Seahawks fan who believes in this journey, hit that like button and subscribe. We are chasing another Super Bowl together, Northwest style forever. The news just broke, and it has sent a ripple through the entire Pacific Northwest. Because the Seattle Seahawks have officially signed veteran edge rusher Dante Fowler Jr., and this changes everything about our defensive rotation. Now, you might hear some people calling him a journeyman, because this is technically his 6th franchise, but those who really know the game understand exactly what is happening behind the scenes here. This isn't a random shot in the dark. It is a reunion with a purpose. Dante Fowler Jr. is coming back to work with our defensive coordinator Aiden Dirty, and that familiarity is the secret sauce that could make this move the steal of the entire offseason. Think about the history they shared in Dallas. Fowler spent 3 of the last 4 seasons with the Cowboys, and for 2 of those crucial years, Dird was the man coaching his line. This isn't just about a player knowing a playbook. It is about a coach knowing exactly how to unlock a player's unique twitch and power. While working together in the past, Fowler was a lethal pass-rushing specialist who didn't even need to start games to make a massive impact on the box score. In 34 games under that system, he managed 10 sacks and 30 tackles as a situational weapon. That is pure efficiency, the kind of production that keeps offensive coordinators awake at night because they never know when that fresh energy is going to explode off the edge. After a stint with Dan Quinn in Washington where he racked up 10.5 sacks, he's coming to Seattle with a chip on his shoulder and a wealth of experience. But there is a deeper layer to this story that involves the massive hole left by Boy Mafe. We all saw Mafe secure that huge $60 million deal with the Bengals, and honestly, it hurt to see that talent walk out the door. But look at what John Schneider just did. He went out and secured a veteran with proven production for a fraction of that cost. We are talking about a 1-year, $5 million deal for a guy who has been a top 5 overall pick in this league. The implications for our salary cap and our pass rush depth are absolutely massive right now. When we look deeper into this move, we have to talk about the emotional weight of bringing in a player like Fowler who has seen it all across this league. Some fans might be worried that he's just another veteran passing through, but the tape tells a completely different story of resilience and high-level performance. The Seahawks are currently in a transition phase under this new coaching staff, and having a guy who already speaks the language of Aiden Dird is like having an extra coach on the field. This creates a sense of stability that we desperately needed after the departure of some key veterans. But here is where the tension lies. Can a 30-year-old veteran truly replicate the explosive upside that we saw from someone younger like Math? The risk is always there that a veteran might slow down, but if you look at Fowler's recent efficiency, he seems to be getting better with age. The pressure on this defensive front is immense because the NFC West is a gauntlet of elite offensive tackle play. If Fowler can't translate that Dallas success into the Seahawks scheme, our edge pressure could become a glaring weakness that ruins the entire season plan. We are betting on the chemistry between the coach and the player to bypass the usual learning curve that slows down most free agent signings. This is a gamble on culture and fit rather than just raw athletic potential. The roster impact is felt immediately because it pushes everyone else in the room to compete harder. It tells the younger guys that there are no guaranteed spots and that production is the only currency that matters in Seattle. We are looking at a scenario where the rotation becomes more versatile, allowing Mike McDonald to disguise his pressures in ways we haven't seen since the glory days. But there is also the concern of longevity. Is this just a 1-year band-aid, or are we looking at the start of a veteran renaissance that could lead us back to the playoffs? The uncertainty is what makes this so nerve-wracking for the faithful. Every snap Fowler takes will be compared to what we lost in free agency. This move isn't just about filling a roster spot. It's about proving that the Seahawks front office can still outsmart the market while everyone else is overpaying for names. But this is where things change and where the narrative surrounding Dante Fowler Jr. becomes truly fascinating if you look at the numbers. Most people only talk about his sacks, but what really matters for the Seahawks is how he stacks up against the run and his overall efficiency. Last season, according to PFF, Fowler earned an overall grade of 77.6, which actually ranked him 21st among all defensive ends in the entire league. That is a massive statistic that many fans are overlooking right now. To put that into perspective, our former star Boy Mafe finished with a 69.2 grade. When you realize that we are paying Fowler $5 million to produce at a level that's statistically graded out higher than a $60 million player, the genius of this move starts to reveal itself. And that's the biggest question facing us right now. Can he maintain that efficiency in a full-time or high-usage rotation? His pass rushing grade of 72.8 shows he still has that elite burst to get to the quarterback. But the most underrated part of his game is his ability to set the edge. He finished 33rd in the league in run defense grading, which is exactly what this Mike Macdonald system requires. We don't just need flash. We need discipline. We need players who won't lose their gap integrity when the game is on the line. Because this could become something much bigger than just a depth signing. If Fowler thrives, it allows the rest of our defensive line to face fewer double teams and creates a domino effect across the entire front seven. The future of this franchise depends on these high-value, low-cost signings working out, because that is how you build a championship roster in the modern NFL. This move signals that the Seahawks are focusing on efficiency over hype. It means the coaching staff isn't just looking for stars. They are looking for specific tools that fit their complex defensive puzzle. We are seeing a calculated evolution of the roster where every dollar is being squeezed for maximum impact. The emotional stakes are high because if this fails, we will all be pointing back to the Maffa departure as the moment the defense took a step back. But if it works, it becomes the blueprint for how we stay contenders in a post-Pete Carroll era. I'm going to be honest with you all, this move actually makes me feel a lot better about the direction of our defensive identity. At first, I was worried that we were just grabbing whoever was left on the market. But the more I look at the Dird connection, the more I realize how smart this is for the Seahawks. I really like this move because it shows that Mike Macdonald and John Schneider are on the same page. They aren't just chasing the biggest names. They are chasing the guys who know the system and can produce immediately without a 6-month adjustment period. I think fans should pay attention to how Fowler is used in the preseason because it will tell us everything about his role. He's a veteran who knows how to pace himself, but he still plays with a violent edge that fits the Seahawks culture. This actually worries me a little bit because we are putting a lot of faith in a veteran who has bounced around, but his production last year was so efficient that it's hard to argue with the logic. It feels like we are playing Moneyball with our defensive line, and I am here for it. We need that veteran presence in the locker room to show the younger guys what it takes to be a professional in this league. This could be incredible if he gives us 8 to 10 sacks for $5 million, or this could become a problem if the age finally catches up to him. But from everything I'm seeing, Fowler is hungry. He signed a 1-year deal for a reason. He wants to prove he's worth one more big contract, and there is no better place to do that than in front of the 12s. I've watched enough Seahawks football to know that we love a good redemption story or a veteran coming here to find his second wind. It's in our DNA. We saw it with guys like Cliff Averill and Michael Bennett, and while I'm not saying Fowler is at that level yet, the potential for a similar impact is definitely there. We have to trust the process and trust that the familiarity with Dird is going to pay off in week 1. This is about building a wall that no one can run through and a pass rush that no one can escape. It starts with moves exactly like this one. The arrival of Dante Fowler Jr. is a clear signal that the Seattle Seahawks are not just sitting back and watching the division get stronger. This is a proactive move to ensure that our defense remains a nightmare for every quarterback that enters Lumen Field. But the story is far from over. Does this signing mean we are done addressing the edge? Or is John Schneider still working the phones for another blockbuster move? The tension is still there because the draft and the rest of free agency will reveal the true scale of this rebuild. We are at a crossroads where every decision could be the difference between a deep playoff run and a disappointing season of what-ifs. This move feels like the first piece of a much larger puzzle that is finally coming together. I want to hear from the real fans now. Do you think Dante Fowler Jr. can actually replace the production we lost with Boy Mafe? Or are you still worried about the depth in our trenches? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it, because your voice is what makes this community the best in the NFL. Don't forget to hit that like button if you love this team and subscribe so you never miss an update on our journey back to the top. The future is uncertain, but the energy is high. Go Hawks!